Hello there. I hope you're all keeping safe, staying home and practicing social distancing. COVID-19 has been an unprecedented challenge and never have we seen a pandemic or social disruption of this magnitude, to say the least. We are all in the middle of a 21-day lockdown and may be feeling anxious, confused, uncertain, panicked, disconnected, or overwhelmed. What are some of the things that have kept you going for the past few days? Some of us have been cleaning up our cupboards, almirahs, or kitchen, finally gotten around to doing some spring cleaning, and almost right in time, I might add. Or maybe a little gardening, cooking, and just catching up on our hobbies, or possibly even have been in a deeply reflective state. What if I had to tell you that how we are feeling and behaving has to do with how we are naturally wired, the way we are built, how we see the world through our own unique set of lenses? What if I told you that all of this can be understood with a tool which is 2,500 years old? Yeah, you heard me right. This tool can help us build that cherished bond with our family, friends, co-workers, and our community. This tool also gives us an insight into the reason on why we behave the way we do, what makes us tick, so to say, and how we can gear ourselves to be our best. Sounds fascinating, doesn't it? I, Lata Verghese, am an Accredited Enneagram practitioner and would like to introduce the Enneagram tool to you in this video. It certainly has changed my life and I hopefully can do the same for you too. So this is a figure of Enneagram. It's a circle containing a 9-pointed star-like shape. Ennea is Greek for number and gram means a drawing. The 9 points represent the 9 distinct personality types. Keep an eye out for my subsequent videos where we dig into this a little deeper. Now let's look at how each of these 9 personalities may be coping with this lockdown. Watch this complete video to see which type you can connect with. Starting off with type 1, the perfectionist.
The first thing that I did, went to the supermarket and stocked up on groceries. I don't understand why people are breaking the rules. Clearly, it's stated by the government that don't go outside. Why are you still outside and spreading the disease? A lockdown means a lockdown, right? I think this is an ideal time for some spring cleaning, and just so everyone in the family is on the same page as me, I have written down a clear set of instructions to be followed. That's the only way how things will get managed around here. Now that I'm home, I see clearer than the day the cobwebs on the ceiling. And no one can be entrusted to do deep cleaning as good as I do.
By giving you a light take on the lockdown version of each personality type, I would like to offer some practical tips and tricks that could help one cope better during these times. And spend some time in a recreational activity without feeling guilty. It's the absolute best time to try out yoga and meditation. Feel the urge to make a sarcastic or cynical comment? I would say give it a miss and hold back a little. Moving on to type 2, these are on the Enneagram circle called the helpers.
Guys, did you think about the old couple living down the road by themselves? God knows how they're getting through this lockdown. We should make them some food and refrigerate it, no? I feel so bad them having to manage without their part-time help. So last night I surprised my family by cooking their favorite meal. But a thank you wouldn't have killed them, I kid you not, I've spent all of the me time I wanted. Would it be okay if I went around the city to see if people needed my help? No, that would lead to unnecessary exposure, putting me and my family at risk. But someone has to think about all of those poor souls as well, right? And no, I'm not trying to be a hero and definitely not a martyr.
Some practical tips for twos during the lockdown. Exercise, meditate, and walk alone to bring the focus back to yourself. This is the best time to get pampered by your family for a change. Ask and you shall receive. Don't rescue people. Allow others to be responsible for their own behavior. Now for the charismatic personality type 3, the achiever. I'm sure threes are facing their worst possible fears during this lockdown, and my thoughts go to them.
An entire year's worth of effort and hard work down the drain. It was supposed to pay off as increment, bonuses, and a promotion as well, but I don't think it's going to happen now. I mean, what kind of justice is that? Do you think it's possible to stop by my office for a quick visit? I'd really like to get a head start on my new project. I'm like, people need to see me doing what I do best, right? Keep myself occupied. I've been closely monitoring the news. I think the government is taking the right steps and handling the situation like it's supposed to be handled. And of course, I cannot forget to exercise every day. I mean, can't really let go, right? Become a fatty. That's not me.
Here are some practical tips and tricks to prevent threes from going bonkers during this lockdown. It's perfect time to do some volunteer work. So guys, get out and do that. The hardest thing for a three is to sit idle. So try practicing that without getting feelings of being unworthy. Take a moment to realize that maybe others are not as efficient as you are. Many people do not have the energy or ability to focus. And now here comes the melodramatic type 4, the individualist.
Hey, don't you see the do not disturb sign at the door? I don't need people hassling me right now. But wait, don't leave me by myself either. That doesn't work for me. God, I think I've come down with something. I definitely need some me time to get over this. I've stopped reading the newspapers and watching the news. I know it's important to stay informed, but all it's doing is taking a toll on my emotions. And I don't want people walking on eggshells around me. I hate to admit, sometimes I do love being in my deep, profound, full moods. I mean, what's life without a little drama, right?
A few practical tips for fours. Find ways to make everyday duties and responsibilities creative or playful. Give into your inherent creativity. Get into painting or some other form of art like singing or playing an instrument. Focus on the positives of life, even if they can tend to feel really hard to find. So now, let's get a little intellectual with type 5s, the specialist or the observer.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. These are the best days of my life. I get to be with myself, read books, play video games, and learn things online. I was never really social to begin with, and this is the perfect excuse for me to be alone. But on a serious note, there is a lot of fake news which is flying around social media and WhatsApp groups about COVID-19. This is a serious matter, guys. The whole world has come to a halt. In fact, I've put together a detailed document myself which looks at the do's and the don'ts during this situation. Can you keep the music down? Some of us are trying to read here.
Certain practical tips for 5s in lockdown. This is the best time for you to get into an exercise routine. Get your body moving. Get out of your head and get into doing. Pick up the phone and express your feelings to your loved ones, or take the time to have deep conversation with those around you. Let's move on to the type 6, the skeptic.
Thank God, I got all my supplies. I had to wait in line for such a long time, while constantly being worried about the proximity of the other shoppers. So much for social distancing, let me tell you. Have you guys noticed how many times we touch our faces? I'll tell you a practical solution to this. After washing your hands well, slice a chili and rub it all over them. It does nothing to the virus, but you quickly learn not to touch your face. Well, on a serious note, as far as government policies are concerned, thank God that we have a clear-cut guideline for do's and don'ts. Not that I trust everyone to follow them. So being alert is a good way to keep an eye out. And if I catch them, lo and behold, they are going to get quite the earful from me.
Some practical tips for type 6s. Try and get over that fear or that phobia which has you in its grips ever since this crisis has happened. Learn to crack jokes on yourself and not take everything so seriously. Don't worry if the environment doesn't provide you with stability and safety. Expect the worst, but hope for the best. Let's hear from the ever so lively type 7s, the optimist. Never a dull moment around them.
I 100% agree with President Trump on this billion-dollar lawsuit against the Chinese government. What spoils sports? My ticket to Italy and my fantastic vacation, all down the drain. But worry not, I, the eternal optimist, have managed to keep myself busy. I found 2 WhatsApp groups with 2 different sets of friends, and believe me, the memes I share are not to be missed. And as soon as this lockdown is lifted, my calendar is chock-a-block. But for now, I just invited all of my friends to a virtual house party. Yay! Fun times are always here. Though I will admit my cupboard is a bit of a mess and needs some cleaning, but what the hell? There's always tomorrow.
A few practical suggestions for sevens during lockdown. Cultivate healthy habits of eating, sleeping, and exercise. Maintain a routine. It's the ideal time to develop this. Don't expect others to keep up with your fast pace and energy levels. And don't let the fear of not having options stop you from exploring your inner self. Let's tune into type 8s and how they may react during lockdown, the controller or the asserter.
How many times do I have to tell my folks to wash their hands properly? Ever since the lockdown, most of my time is spent in taking charge of stuff and putting things in order. People around me feel like I'm going a bit overboard. But I'm trying to protect all of us here. I'm looking forward to getting back to my office once the lockdown is lifted and finally be able to have a face-to-face meeting with my colleagues. This entire work from home hullabaloo makes no sense to me and definitely is not my cup of tea. I never have an idea if instructions are being followed the way they ought to be. I need to get back to the driver's seat, and sitting at home for me has just come to mean overindulging in food and binge-watching Netflix. At the risk of sounding pompous, I do believe I'm rather large-hearted, and it clearly shows in the way I've gone over, contributing generously towards feeding the migrant workers. And love me or hate me for it, I do like to boast about my charitable acts.
Some practical tips for type 8s. Avoid driving others as hard as you drive yourself. Make some time out for enjoyable creative or physical activities. Though the situation might make you feel helpless, use the support of your family to get over tough times. Show your vulnerability and lean on them for support. Moving on from the larger than life 8s, we get to the modest and humble 9s, the peacemakers.
Hey, you don't see me complaining about this lockdown. It's gotten me doing what I love most. Relaxing on my bed, binging on TV, and some food. I have no apprehension about watching what everyone else is watching. And my family loves cribbing about the empty coffee cups lying around me. I get around to removing them eventually, but it doesn't have to be right now.
Finally, a few tips and tricks for the 9s to deal with the lockdown. Ask others to join you in your interests rather than always going along with theirs. Express your opinions and your feelings. Learn to rock the boat a little. Bring out issues which have been very deep and see if you can get that long-standing conflict resolved and manage to keep your inner peace and harmony. This wonderful Enneagram tool takes into account the dynamism of our personalities. So it makes sense that you see different parts of yourself in different personality types. That being said, what type do you think you connect with the most? Now that you know how the 9 types may react to this lockdown, what personality do you think you best relate to? And like mentioned earlier, we will be further exploring the Enneagram types, their motivations, their fears, and how they are connected to each other in the next couple of videos. Curious? If so, and if you liked our video on lockdown personalities and want to know more about Enneagram, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all our updates. Stay home and stay safe. Thanks for watching.